Ah, there you are. Did you bring me my wine? Wonderful. Pour some for me, please. I need to focus on these documents. Thank you. I don't think this is the one I asked you to bring me. No need. This is all right, but do try to learn the difference in future. This proposal is ridiculous. I'm honestly not sure if I'm supposed to take this as an insult. I'm just going over a proposal for a trade agreement. A neighbouring lord called Lord Moston wants some of the textiles we produce. But I couldn't possibly take this offer. It doesn't even cover the cost of materials, let alone labour. He probably thinks I don't actually know what I'm doing. They always assume that, and I can't understand why. Being a dragon noble in a human kingdom means I didn't inherit my position, or otherwise receive outside help. To get the kind of recognition that I did from the king, I needed to really stand out. But like half the nobility here, somehow he just thinks I looked into it. Personally, I chalk it up to vanity. They all think they are the ideal noble. And if someone is different from them, it must mean they aren't cut out for it. Not that I really mind, come to think of it. This is a cutthroat business, and being underestimated works heavily in my favour. Now, what to do with him? We'll see how his offer changes once I undercut him. His main export, you see, is leather goods, and he gets his hides from Lady Fane, who specialises in livestock. But I have the facilities to produce leather as well, and I'm in a position to pay much more for those hides than him. Once his production has screeched to a halt, he'll come crawling to me, begging me to back off. And I'll do it, I'll do it, for much more than he's offered me here. I'm sure it all sounds a bit cruel to your ears, but he would do the same to me, and worse. In the end, it's his fault for trying to cheat me. But anyway, that can wait for later. I think it's time we had a talk. Oh, no. You're not in any sort of trouble. I just wanted to check in and see how things were going. How are you feeling? Do you feel overworked or burnt out? Do you feel that the pay is fair? Good. But I don't want you to be misled into thinking I'm an overly generous person. I ask largely because it causes me problems when my servants feel mistreated. My own productivity relies on all of you taking care of the things I don't have time for. Disgruntled employees are slow, sloppy, and even occasionally malicious. It benefits the both of us to have you taken care of. Oh, not quite. I won't just give a servant whatever they ask for. I can be a bit flexible if I'm convinced it's warranted, but servants who expect more than I'm willing to give are usually replaced very quickly. But that doesn't seem to apply to you. You've been a good servant thus far, I'd say. You put in good effort and are quite competent. You make mistakes, of course, but you're good at correcting them and learning not to make them twice. That's the important part. As long as you know how to improve yourself, it doesn't matter what your skill level is when you start out. It reminds me of my early days, back when I was part of that trading caravan. I was poor and homeless at the time. They didn't hire me because of any particular skill set, they just needed a dragon in the caravan in order to trade in the Drake Tundra. Yes, a bit of an unusual law. The Drake Tundra is dragon territory. The dragons of the tundra are very distrusting of outsiders and require that any group entering the tundra to have a dragon with them, ostensibly to prove they aren't hostile to our kind. Really, it's just a way to keep outsiders out without saying as much, since it's rare to find a dragon outside their territory and you can't go in to recruit one. But I was in the process of leaving my homeland to find employment, and they had set up camp outside our border, hoping to meet a dragon such as I. They didn't offer me much, but all I had to do was be there, and I knew there wasn't much else I was qualified for, so I accepted. But I watched and listened carefully. Learned how they negotiated and how they spoke to customers, and how they planned their routes. One day I offered to help, and begun to prove my worth. It wasn't long before I owned the whole operation. Oh, but listen to me prattle on, boasting about myself. I actually wanted to ask you a bit about your background. I know the basic facts from the research I conducted prior to hiring you, but I don't know your view on it. Well, I'm happy to hear that. I do my best to ensure the peasants who live on my land are taken care of. Much like the servants, I rely on them, so we all benefit when they feel comfortable. Ah, that's right. It is quite a large family, as I recall. A bit hard for you to feel like you stood out then. Is that why you applied to work for me? Not a bad idea. Rising above that farmer's life, being able to send money back to take care of your parents and siblings, I'm certain that makes you special in your family's eyes. It's a good plan, and it shows initiative. It's a good sign, and there's a reason I asked, of course. I've been invited to a very important conference. Royalty and nobility from all over the continent will be there in order to learn from each other, sharing styles of leadership, innovation, and anything new and useful. It's a rare thing for so many leaders to be willing to share so openly. It will be far away, in a different country, actually. The long journey necessitates travelling light, and so I only plan to bring one servant with me. I want it to be you. It might seem like a strange decision at first. You haven't served me or anyone for very long. I have many servants with far more experience for such an important expedition. But I see some very interesting traits in you. You learn quickly and easily incorporate new ideas into practice. Of all my servants, I think you would benefit the most from expanding your horizons through travel. It will also be a test of whether you are reliable enough for more important duties. It is a choice, of course. You can decide for yourself whether you're willing. What say you? Fair enough. It's prudent to take time to think things over. I won't require an answer for a few days. In the meantime, I'll tell you a bit more about what will be expected of you if you accept. It will take about 2 weeks of travel to reach our destination by carriage. You will be in charge of handling my luggage during stops, purchasing necessities and anything else I ask of you. Once we arrive, you will be my attendant. You will run errands, deliver messages, and answer the door to my room. None of this should be unfamiliar to you, but keep in mind you will be interacting with important people from many different places, so it's important to maintain a professional and competent demeanour. People will watch you to judge my character more than myself. Bear that in mind. But I'm confident in you. You are respectful, charming, and vigilant. If you accept, I am confident you will serve me well. But for now, you may be dismissed. Tomorrow morning, I'll have you help the kitchen staff with serving breakfast. I'll talk to you then. Good night, servant.